The theory of oneness, not to be confused with the theory of everything, which deals with trying to unify Einstein's classical physics with Stephen Hawking's and other theoretical physicists' quantum mechanics, which is known as the theory of everything. With the theory of oneness, you must put it in your mind and accept it as a fact that there's a hidden, mysterious energy force in the universe that's as real as the air you breathe and the water that you drink, as real as space-time and gravity, as real as electricity, atoms, quarks, and gluons. We just don't understand it. Through history, prophets, philosophers, theologians, people of different faiths, and people in general have pondered about this energy force or phenomena and have given it their own definition of what it is. The different beliefs of this energy force phenomena has shaped and formed the world in which we live in. This phenomena is difficult to grasp because you can't explain it with modern science, meaning the scientific method or mathematically. Let me make a comparison. Before the age of science, people generally knew that air was there, but they didn't understand what it was. You couldn't see it, you couldn't taste it, you couldn't smell it, but it was there. The thinkers of those days that tried to explain what air was were looked at as being crazy or foolish. Now that we know what air is and understand it, we can do marvelous things with it. Knowing and understanding what air is gives us the ability to fly. We have airplanes, helicopters, air balloons, etc. How would the modern world be without having airplanes to move us around? We have the world of pneumatics, which is the branch of physics that deals with the use of compressed air to transmit force and energy. And from that, we have wind power generators, jet engines that produce thrust, air compressors to run air conditioning systems, the air in your tires, cooling fans for you and your computers, vacuum cleaners. The list goes on. And it's because we know that air exists and we understand how it works and use it to our advantage. Electricity is another great thing that was discovered that's invisible. But again, people didn't believe it existed because they couldn't see it. They didn't understand it and they didn't know what it was. It was mystical. Before the 1800s, there was curiosity around it, but nobody knew what it was. In 1752, Benjamin Franklin conducted his famous kite experiment in order to show that lightning was electricity. He flew a kite during a thunderstorm. He tied a metal key to the kite string to conduct the electricity. Just as he thought, electricity from the storm clouds transferred to the kite and electricity flowed down the string and gave him a shock. He's lucky that he didn't get hurt, but he didn't mind the shock since it proved his idea. Building upon Franklin's work, many other scientists studied electricity and began to understand more about how it works. For example, in 1880, Thomas Edison patented the electric light bulb, and our world has been brighter ever since. In those days, when the average citizen was shown the light bulb, they thought it was some kind of sorcery. About 4 years earlier, in 1876, Alexander Graham Bell received a patent for the telephone. But again, now that we know what electricity is and understand it, we can do great things with it. Today in the modern world, practically everything runs on electricity. We use electrical generators to light up a city, a country, and the world. We have satellites, telephones, televisions, computers, air conditioning systems, batteries, solar energy. Again, the list goes on. That's done from this force called electricity. That's what I'm saying about this energy force phenomena. It's a real force in essence, an ether that we can't see, touch, smell, hear, or taste. And again, it's as real as air or electricity. It's everywhere. And you know what? It's science. It's a science that exists, but we just don't know what it is and don't understand it. a science that comes from maybe the higher dimensions. This great invisible energy force is part of a world where everything exists and everything is possible. There are accounts and those who believe that there is a way to connect with this world. And once we do, we can do marvelous things. Now imagine all the things we could do if we only understood how it works. I don't get religious, but Jesus of the Bible said we can move mountains. He was talking literally, not figuratively. A lot of people believe that the way to connect or access to this world is through the power of the mind and to go into a meditative state. So how do we have proof that this body of energy, essence, phenomena exists, being that you can't explain it scientifically? Now let's talk about direct and circumstantial evidence. In our justice system, the law says that direct and circumstantial evidence are equally valid as a method of proof. Direct evidence is when you have an eyewitness or witnesses that testifies that an event happened. You could say that the scientific method is a sort of direct evidence. One of the definitions of circumstantial evidence is its indirect evidence does not, on its face, prove that a fact exists, but gives rise to a logical conclusion that the fact exists. For example, in a theft case, if the defendant was seen in the area at the time of the theft, their fingerprints were found at the scene of the crime, and they were found with large amounts of money that they couldn't explain, the court would be more likely to convict, even if there wasn't an eyewitness or direct evidence. So if this phenomenon can't be proven with science, is there circumstantial evidence that might prove this phenomenon exists? We'll discuss this in our next video. For now, thanks for watching.